Hello, you weirdos. Jim here, and I haven't done many solo reviews lately, but this is a special occasion. Yeah, the book that all the kids playing Foursquare have been waiting for has finally arrived, and so I figured that I would give it the focus that it deserves. Now, don't check the title of the video. Yes, I am talking about Speed Force #1, and hopefully by the end of this video, we can all figure out what the heck is going on in this book. I doubt it, but there is always hope. So, let's get into it.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Speed Force #1 is written by Jarrett Williams with art by Daniele Di Nicuello. And if you don't know those names, Jarrett Williams hasn't done many comic things, the biggest thing being a Rick and Morty book, which kind of shows. Daniele Di Nicuello did some of the side art in the DC versus Vampires series. Now, forgive me whenever I say his name. I'm going to say it different each time. I can't help it. I'm a big dummy. But here we go. If you don't already know, Speed Force is a book focusing on Kid Flash Wallace West and the Flash of China Avery Ho. Now, I do like both of these characters, and I like when they get some attention. I loved it when Wallace babysat Jay and Irie and Jeremy Adams' Flash run, but there's just too many speedsters. You don't have enough room to focus on somebody like Avery. So this book is a cool way to spotlight her and Wallace West. And the idea of giving a spotlight to characters who do know that they don't quite fit in, that they're not the #1 characters. With all that going on, I don't know what's going on in this book. This should be 100% for me. And it's not. You see, I actually enjoy a book with a decent story. I'm not even going to say a good story, just a decent story, some sort of story. Unfortunately, Jarrett Williams, he thinks that stringing together buzzwords and social media nonsense equals a story. And by the end of the issue, I thought I might have to send this off to the eggheads at NASA or something to decipher. Don't they do that? Do they decipher comic books nowadays at NASA? I'm not sure because I don't have the time or money to do that anyway. So I'm going to give it a go myself. Here you go. Music Meister is making a music app to control people. That's it. That is the basic bitch story of this whole play, though it takes forever to get to that. And in the end, I still think that I'm kind of assuming things. I might be jumping to conclusions here because you don't really get that full play in the book. The problem is that's such a basic bitch story that it is kind of like, okay, here we go again. Here's where Jarrett Williams shows up to show us the ills of the online apps and social media, and even then ends up kind of avalanching it in with the hello fellow kids dialogue. That's some of the worst dialogue that I have read in quite some time. To quote the comic itself, this one is not flames. Now, while the book ties into current Cy Spurrier Flash, it also feels like Jarrett Williams is only aware of the 20-year-old Teen Titans cartoon. He makes references to a bunch of that. He ends up doing things like having Wallace West yell out to Masaminos, characters from the Teen Titans cartoon. He yells out Titans East. Now, if you are in the know, Titans East is the episodes that Masaminos were in. Okay, the problem is there's no Titans East in this continuity. That's not what they call it. That's not going on. That's cartoon stuff. Leave it there. All you're doing is exposing that you know nothing about these characters in the comics. You know nothing about what makes these characters good, what they should be trying to figure out. All of that, you are just there referencing a 20-year-old cartoon as if that's going to give you some street cred. It's not. Also, the one thing that you end up also referencing in this, a comic book, is Tim Sheridan's Titans Academy book. I mean, seriously, if you know the lay of the land, you know to never, ever reference Tim Sheridan's Titans Academy book, ever. And again, that book seemed like it was kind of more about the cartoon universe with the Red X stuff, and that didn't work. So what are you doing here? Now, with all that, sometimes a book can be kind of bad, right? Maybe it gets off on the wrong foot, but the art can save it a bit. This isn't the case. Daniela Di Nicuolo's art is bad, especially the character faces. The character faces in this are really bad. When Connor shows up in this comic, I thought I was suddenly reading The Tale of the Horse-Faced Boy. It was that bad. I mean, seriously, Connor's kryptonite is a mirror. Don't look in that mirror. He is bad, and it's desperately trying to have a manga or anime look, but it looks like somebody desperately trying to give it a manga or anime look. It's just not good, on top of a horrible, horrible script that I don't know what's going on. It's a bad book. Now, the biggest question, though, who is this for? I said it already. It should be for me. I'm a fan of both Wallace and Avery, and yet I was annoyed by both characters throughout this entire issue, and I'm worrying about that idea where some new readers will just, oh, well, I'll check this out. And they'll just, oh, man, this Wallace and Avery, they are annoying. And it really does go down to the big play of worrying that when this fails, that DC will think that it's the characters that failed. I keep going back to the old adage, there are no bad characters, just bad writers. In this case, horrible writers who don't really know what's going on and somehow wants to try to. Jarrett Williams seems like, I want to show everybody that I'm in with whatever, but doesn't know what that is. And so he's just giving us this. It's just really, really bad. And overall, with all of that, I am going to give Speed Force number 1 a 3 out of 10. And I will be back to review issue number 2, maybe to see if it can get worse, but also maybe to try to get some bit of answers, some sort of story. But I'm telling you, when you get into this, it's more concerned with that. Hey, look at the teen dialogue. Hey, look at this. There are so many things that you can deal with a Wallace West and an Avery Ho than just sitting around playing video games and listening to a music app that ends up being a Music Meister thing. There's so much more. We'll see. There's a place for fun books, but this isn't even that fun. And you may disagree. And if you do disagree, let me know. But this is one of the worst books I've read in quite some time. And that's something, because I don't think it's necessarily trying to do anything mean-spirited. I don't think it's trying to change or ruin characters. It's just being written by somebody who just does not know what they're doing, does not understand the characters and what they mean in this universe, especially to their fans. So with all of that, thanks everyone. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the description of this video for all sorts of Weird Science links, including our DC, manga, Marvel podcast, and then maybe even go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/weirdscience to help us out for everything we do and get a ton of exclusive content over there. But that's it. Thanks, everyone. I'll try to do a couple more of these individual reviews in the next couple of weeks and all that, get back into a swing of things. So with that, I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.